What is reality? How do we define the notion of reality? What is real and what is not? How can we not agree to the fact that the world that we call reality is in fact a better, smarter, and a clearer version of a computer simulation? In order to understand reality, we have to understand simulation first. In the field of computing, simulation can be understood as the technique of representing the real world by a computer program. In the last 2 decades, humanity has had an epic transformation in terms of technology.
Is the new iPod Nano.
So I present to you the Cybertruck.
It's considered to be a subset of information and communication.
We began with the famous ping pong game with 2 bats on each side that hit the ball. Fast forward 2 decades, we have virtual reality that mimics real reality. Everything is real. The characters are real. The setting is real. The atmosphere is real. The mission is real. For people pro of the simulated reality discourse, the basic argument revolves around the question: to accept that this world is real, how can we not remember how we're born? That's what happens in a dream. You are just there in the moment. You don't know how you got there, but you are there in the dream and it feels real. The concept of the internet and computers is based on the concept of the mind and the body. The brain functions as a central processing unit that processes information, and the DNA as the hard drive. Every choice that you have ever made, every move that you have ever had, every word that you have ever written is on the hard drive, all available to access if required. In other words, reality is only what the brain can decode. Imagine tasting food. We don't taste food with the tongue. We taste food via the tongue. The brain decodes the information and tells us whether it's sweet or sour. What we call the world and all that is in it is not real but a digital hologram. Everything that we touch, everything that we hear, everything that we see is not real. It's all a code. Codes of information that the brain decodes for us in order to make an understanding. We don't live in a world, we live in a band of frequencies. Much of mainstream science already knows that physicality is an illusion. What we call the world or visible light, which is the only reality that we see, represents 0.005% of what exists in the whole universe. Heaven, or infinity as they may say, exists right outside this narrow band of frequency. If I'm tuned into a certain channel on the telly, that's the only reality my television will pick up. That shouldn't allow me to assume that other TV channels don't exist. They have a whole team out there, everyone's getting paid. If this world is a dream, why can't I create my own little versions of it? Just like Inception, a dream within a dream, you might ask. But don't we already have our own tiny versions of reality through Instagram and Snapchat and other social media platforms where everything exists in perfect harmony, the only version of our reality that we want people to see? The same goes for world reality. There are different versions of reality, all hanging out like roots. Try explaining the internet to someone who doesn't know computers. What is the internet? What is Wi-Fi? Where is Wi-Fi? Why can't I see Wi-Fi? It's this huge sea of information that we're living in. It's pictures and data and videos and text. The only place where the internet exists in that form is through the screen. The internet is a technological reality, but only through the screen. Everywhere else, it's just codes and information. Now, the only difference between the guy who thinks that the internet is real, although they can't see it, versus the guy who thinks what I'm saying is absolute garbage, is knowledge. Knowledge of what you are experiencing. And there is only one book of knowledge, the Holy Quran. If I was to ask myself, does there exist angels in this room? What would I say? Of course there are angels in this room, one on each side of my shoulders. But if I was to reject this phenomenon just because I can't see the angels, is similar to making the mistake of rejecting the Wi-Fi field just because I can't see it. You have to understand, our reality is limited by the body and the 5 senses we have. We can't experience reality beyond these 5 senses. What happens when we die? We immediately go into a different reality. What is the concept of heaven? Heaven is nothing but having access to full capacity of your mind and brain, all senses unlocked, through which you cannot just see 0.005% of the world, but all of it, 100%. If you study the Quran and study the Holy Prophet's journey to heaven, you will come to understand that the Holy Prophet was lifted to heaven through a dark space. And that is right, space is a pretty dark place, but nothing is darker than the black hole. The Quran continues on to confirm that during the moment, the Holy Prophet's eyesight did not diverge, nor did it pass beyond the boundary. He certainly saw it as one of the greatest signs of his Lord. The acclaimed British physicist Professor Stephen Hawking supports this claim by suggesting that there could be a way out of the black hole. If you feel you're in a black hole, don't give up. There is a way out. It might have a passage to another universe. What the Holy Prophet saw in heaven was not 0.005% of the universe, but 100% of it. And upon experiencing heaven, the Holy Prophet confirmed it as one of the biggest miracles of God. Although he himself had one of the biggest miracles of the world, the Holy Quran that was revealed to him, to which we're only beginning to understand now, 1400 years down the lane. To put things in perspective, we're all like droplets in the same ocean, and we are the droplets and we are the ocean. The world is not around us, it's inside us.